everyone, it's Jennifer and thank you for joining me today. I have another video. This one's gonna be shorter than my last one. My last one I meant to be about 20 minutes and it ended up being an hour. So we had 3 projects in the last one. This video, we're just gonna have this one. I saw this a few years ago using a button, some S-long cord, some seed beads, and some different types of glass beads, but we're going to go ahead and use these beads here from the Treasure Edition Bead Box. This is the Best Bead Box Treasure Edition from Potomac Beads. This is for January 2023. These seed beads are 8/0 seed beads in black. These did not come in the box, neither did the S-long cord, but you can grab both of these on the Potomac Beads website as well. I did use a little bit of Loctite, and what I did was, just because I was having a difficult time getting the 2 ends through the beads, so I went ahead and just put a little bit, I just put a little bit on a napkin and then dabbled one side in the glue, and then after I let it set for just a second, I went ahead and just wiped it this way so it wasn't a big glob. Because if you have a big glob that dries, it's not going to go through the bead either. So I tested it. I have all of the beads for these style of beads. I have all of them out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them or not, but I kept them out just because sometimes the hole size is a little different. Then, let's see, what else do we have? This button, like I said, came in the box, and this was one of the first bracelets that I ever saw from the first jewelry designer that I ever saw, that I ever found on YouTube almost 3 years ago. So this is a little bit of hers, but a little bit different still. So we're going to use the same concept where we're going to knot. So we're going to tie knots after each bead. We're going to use these little fine nose tweezers just to place our knot. And yeah, so I have probably maybe 1.5 meters. And so I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is we're just going to do a simple just a little simple knot on the end of this button, because we're going to have a button clasp here. Let's see if we can get this through. There we go. Very easy. And then I'm going to go ahead and just I'm keeping the ends together so that I don't, oops, helps if I get them to go through. I'm keeping the ends together so that I don't get them uneven. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, because this button, I don't want these large beads to sit underneath the button, so I'm going to add a few of these 8/0 seed beads. But first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot. So even though I have the little knot there, we're going to go ahead and secure that. And I'm just going to be doing an overhand knot. So I'm just going to go over my 2 fingers here. I'm going to push this through like so, just your standard overhand knot. However, though, what I'm going to do is I am going to place the tip of the tweezers right here. And then I'm going to pull this up, and that's where the knot goes. Then what I do is I will tuck it in that way. So I just go ahead and I just put my tweezers over it, and then I just give it a nice little pull just to make sure that it's all in there. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take the ends, and I have them staggered so that the points can go through separately. And and again, I have more seed beads than what I'm probably going to need, but I want to have just in case one doesn't fit through, I want to be able to have some out and ready. And so when I put this up next to how this is how that will lay, you can see that I at least go beyond the button. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing and grab our knot, our end. We're going to go ahead and place our tweezers underneath. So I'm under and through, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to keep these as even as possible, and then pull that out, and then go ahead and give that a nice little tight. So there we go. We have our first little knot. And I don't want it to be loosey-goosey, but I also don't want the bracelet to flow. I want it to flow. And so what I have is as you can see, so when I do this, you can see that I have kind of a little needle point, about 1/4 of an inch. And so that's what I was wanting to help get through each bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first few beads here on camera, and then I'm going to go away and finish off adding the beads, and then when I get to the end, I will come back. So let's go ahead and just grab it again, just like so. Grab our tweezers. You can use anything. You can use some needle nose, pliers. You can use anything that will get you at least close. And sometimes, like there, it looks like it might be off a little. You could just tug on one and the other, and you see how I tugged on one and it tightened it up a little bit. So you can go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. This is so long, and I probably have way too much, but I don't know how much I'm gonna need. So let's go ahead and we'll get a couple more through there. And having that tip glued up just really helps a lot. And I kept my glue out just in case I need to glue it again, give it a little refresh, because I am, using it, and I don't have a lot on there because I didn't want to increase the size of the thread too much by having goopy gloppy glue on here. So I just wanted to make sure that I had just a nice little tippy tip. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm not sure how many I'm going to do. When I get to the end and start thinking about how I'm sizing this, I will come back on video and finish it all up with you. And again, you saw I was having a little bit of difficulty with that, but you just kind of stay patient with it, and it'll all come back. So I'll go ahead and get finished up here. I'm going for about a 7-inch, maybe 6 3/4 inch bracelet. And so when I get all done, I'll let you know if I used all of them or how many I have left. I did use 2 of these for an earring. So I just remembered that. I did use 2 of these for a pair of earrings that I'll do in the next video. So let's go ahead and just tie the knot. Okay, so I have this just like this. And before you tighten it down, just put your little tweezers there and pull the back. Make sure you have both strands pulled tightly. Remove, and then go ahead and pull again. And you can see here, it does flow. It's not so tight. And then once we have it on our wrist, it'll just look super, super cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and step away, and I will come back when I get towards the end. Okay, so we're back. I ended up stringing like 18, and how I did this was I'm going to be adding seed beads to both sides, and so I just kind of put what my clasp would be about, And then I placed it on my really sad, look how sad. This is my bracelet, my bracelet measurer. And I know it's so sad. It's just a printout from internet. And then, so I have about 6.5, and that's okay. I put it on myself. And yeah, because you have to have enough to get, you need to have the clasp end or the connecting end at least wide enough to fit the button through there. So, and you need to know that it's not just this piece. So when you look at it, you can't just simply say, oh, let me get this. You can't just simply say from here to here, right? You can't just say from here to here, because there's also a little shank too. And the shank adds a little bit of, bit of length, not length to it, but I guess like girth or something. So you have to make it a little bit wider. And it took me about 20 minutes, if that, to get that through, or to finish all this up. And all I did was just knot it the whole time. All right, so now what we're going to do is I ended it with a knot. So we have a knot here. And so now we're just going to add enough seed beads on both sides so that we can make the little connector. So go ahead and pass those through one, and you want to have the same amount on both sides. You want to have it a little bit even. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up both sides and get to where the clasp size where I can get this through here. I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me thread on all these little seed beads. So I will come back when I have the sizing and I will share the numbers with you. Okay, so I have 11 on both sides. And the reason why I chose black was because then it can just blend in with the clasp. And as you can see, that is a bit much because it goes through there just a little too easily. So so I've got it nice and tight, and I'm going to go here, but then I'm also, again, going to pass that shank through. So I could probably take maybe, let's try 1 off of each end. So let's try 1 first because I don't want to take too many. I'd rather take a little off and still take a little off. And then, and again, I have that nice and tight. And so that is about it, because you don't want to have to struggle to put that on. So yeah, actually, I think I might put those back. So I'm actually going to put those back because I'd rather it be a little on the looser side. Plus I'm going to tie a knot. So let's go ahead and I'm holding on to this so I don't put it to the same one, add to the same one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these to an end. As you could tell, I have quite a bit extra here, but that's okay because I'd rather have more than trying to do this here at the end with too little. So let's go ahead and do another knot just like so. And we want to make sure that we get our tweezers down to the very, very end here where those seed beads are. And go ahead and get those. Make sure that you don't have it wrapped around one of the seed beads as well. And then go ahead and get that all nice and tight. And so that is tight. It's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that again. And yeah, I'm glad that I went ahead and kept that other one on. So here we go here, but now we have an opportunity to add a little bit of dangle to this too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add like three on this here, just like so, just to add a little bit. And I know that the black and then that soft color is a bit much, but I like it. I kind of dig it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie an overhand knot. Okay. And even though I just have the one strand, I still want to get that knot right down to the end. Make sure I'm not going over my seed bead. And to get that in there, make sure it's not going to come off. It's not going to go anywhere, right? I'm going to go ahead and do one more knot. Go ahead, and I'm actually putting my tweezers on top of that other knot. I'm not going above the knot. I'm going on top of the knot because I want to make that knot a little more bulky. Okay, let's give it a good pull. And there we go. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this other side. And again, my points are still pretty pointy. I didn't lose a lot, even though I was stuffing them through the other beads and pulling on them. I didn't lose any of the glue, how it was gluing. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and tie that off. And if you want to do like more on one, or have one come down a little bit longer than the other so they're not the same, you can do that. I'm going to keep mine the same, in the same spot. So you could stagger them, but I'm just going to leave mine in the same spot. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and make that second knot. Grab that. And again, my tweezers are going on top of the first knot. Let's make sure I get really on top of there. Get the tippy tip right on top of there, so that now I'm going to have a bulkier knot, and that's what I want. Okay. Now what you can do is you can bring out your thread zapper again. So you can come in with your scissors and just kind of cut down a little bit, so you have a little bit of a tail, and then come in a little bit and have a little bit of a tail. You have a little bit left over. That's okay. That is okay, because we would rather have more than not enough. So now what I want to do is I want to kind of melt that down a little bit. And I probably could have come closer to the knot, but I'm going to go ahead and get this melted down. And as you can see, it's starting to melt down, and I just kind of push down towards the knot. And then what happens is it ends up kind of adhering to the knot, and then just kind of put your finger up against there. See? All right, so now let's go ahead and do this side without hopefully burning myself. And I just kind of go on top a little bit until I can see that I really have a nice, good melt. And there we go. Put our cap on. And here we go. We have our second, this is actually our fourth bracelet. I've already made a few others using the kit, so I have a little bit left over here. And again, these are 8OC beads, and you can find that at PotomacBeads.com. I also used some S-long cord, also available at PotomacBeads.com. These beads here came from the Best Bead Box Treasure Edition, which is a subscription. So it's a subscription that you can renew monthly, or quarterly, or annually. The monthly subscription is $39.99. Then as you increase the number of months, so quarterly is going to be $34.99, so you're saving $5 a month. Then the biggest bang for your buck is the annual, where it's $29.99. And so that saves you $120 a year. So there also have, now if creativity is not in your wheelhouse, that's okay. Potomac has a kit box for you as well. And it is the Best Bead Box Kit Edition, where you receive kit. The only items in the boxes are the kits, and these are kits exclusively to the subscription box. Also, for the Treasure Edition, there's 5 golden tickets that get placed randomly in the boxes, and the winner will receive a little goodie bag from Potomac Beads. Then it's a goodie bag or maybe discount. Not sure. Maybe they randomly have different types of goodies, whether it be a gift card, whether it be discount, an extra discount, or goodie bag, or supplies. I would love to get a golden ticket. So if you get a golden ticket and you are on Instagram, share what you got and be sure to tag hashtag Potomac Beads so that we can all see that as well. But I made this one here. Then earlier I made these 3 bracelets using more beads from the Treasure Edition bead box. And this is all from these, the crystal beads and the little V beads. I know there's probably some technical term for those. Those all came from the Treasure Edition as well. Then for this one here, the blue beads came from the box, but I added my own antique copper components and findings. Then we did a little bit of seed beading, and I added my own findings and components and these seed beads. So I did 2 different, the reason why I have 2 different ends, I did 2 different ends. So if you miss this video, be sure to, I'll put a link to this other video in the description box, along with a link to get you over to Potomac Beads and to see the unboxing. So be sure to like the video if you like it, and comment. I love to see what everybody has to say, and subscribe. Until next time, have a good one.